I am assuming that I will be chair of this meeting. If there are any objections, please speak now.
Oh, please go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Oh, wait, I saw Mickey raise his hand.
No.
No? Okay, just checking. All right, so first time I've done this little protocol, so forgive me if I screw up. As a preliminary matter, this is Brooke Meerbergen. And I have Holly Backus, Lucy Dillon, Angus McLeod, and Mickey Rowland. And I need to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. When I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Mickey Rowland?
Correct.
Angus McLeod?
I'm here.
Lucy Dillon?
Yes.
Holly Backus?
Present.
All right, and Brooke Meerbergen, me. Anticipated speakers on the agenda, do we have any? No, okay. So introduction to remote meeting. So I have to read this whole thing?
Yep.
Oh my goodness. Good morning. Oh, good afternoon. This open meeting of the Historic Structures Advisory Board, Nantucket Historic Structures Advisory Board, is being conducted remotely consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, we have been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings, and as such, the governor's order suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. Further, all members of public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order, which you can find posted with agenda materials for this meeting, allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will not feature public comment. Is that correct?
Were we going to bring up something, Holly, about the applications?
That is on the end of the agenda.
Okay, thank you.
You're
All right.
welcome.
For this meeting, the Nantucket Historic Structures Advisory Board is convening by video conference via Zoom app as posted on the town's website, identifying how the public may join in. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and that all attendees are participating by video conference. Accordingly, please be aware that other folks may be able to see you and to take care not to screen share your computer. Anything that you broadcast may be captured by the recording. All meeting materials, all supporting materials that have been provided members of this body are available on the town's website unless otherwise noted. The public is encouraged to follow along with the using the posted agenda unless I, Brooke Meerbergen, notes otherwise. Meeting business ground rules. We are now turning to the first item on the agenda. Before we do so, permit me to cover some ground rules for effective and clear conduct of our business and to ensure accurate meeting minutes. I, Brooke Meerbergen, the chair, will introduce each speaker on the agenda. After they conclude their remarks, the chair will go down the line of members, inviting each by name to provide any comment, questions, or motions. Please hold until your name is called. Further, please remember to mute your phone or computer when you are not speaking. Please remember to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. For any response, please wait until the chair yields the floor to you and state your name before speaking. If members wish to engage in a conversation with other members, please do so through the chair, taking care to identify yourself. For items with public comment, after members have spoken, the chair will afford public comment to those members of the public that have joined the meeting via Zoom. Members of the public who wish to speak must state their names and be acknowledged by and speak through the chair. Finally, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by roll call vote. And this is my own question, as an advisory board, we don't really vote, do we? I mean, we just sort of put our 2 cents in and it's recorded. Is that?
You actually do make a vote as far as your comments to the commission.
Okay, so just a consensus tally, I guess. All right. And call to order audio recording announcement, members present, adoption of agenda, approval of minutes. So we did the members present adopt this agenda. Have you guys all seen this? Any motion to adopt it?
Motion.
Okay, second.
Second.
All right. Approval of minutes from June 29th, 2020. Have you guys read that? Anybody want to make a motion?
I wasn't there for the full time.
Me neither.
Kadeem emailed them on Thursday. That was the meeting that Brooke was not present. So that was when Mickey was chair.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Thank you.
All right. All right, so the first item is Teal Ziklis of 44 Fair Street. Nope, I just lost the agenda. And I just lost you.
Sorry about that. The first one is for 44 Fair Street.
It's me. I can't get any audio.
Yep.
Can anybody hear me? I cannot hear you.
Hello. Can you hear me now?
What do you want me to do? I can't hear any of them. I don't know if that'll work. I'm on my computer audio, which always works.
You can go sign in.
All right, leave meeting and do it again.
What are we on? Linda's having technical difficulties, so she'll be right on in a minute.
I get on, but I can't hear them.
But this did go to the HDC the same day you all saw it. Where are we at? Right here. Scroll down. This is the site.
This is the one with the sloped fence.
Yes.
We had asked for an elevation of some sort, didn't we?
Yes.
I believe so.
All right, hold on. Admit. All right, Linda should be in.
Looking at the application, that's what I think we really need, and I still don't see it here as an elevation of the front of the property.
There we go.
Ah, there we are.
I still cannot hear any of you at all, but I understand you can hear me.
Yes.
Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me.
Weird.
I'll give you the long and the short of it. You wanted a site plan, so we created the site plan. We put the wall underneath the fence, like the one across the street and the one down the street. We laid it out there, and all the HDC members were able to go up and look at the string. We strung the whole thing, and we strung the wall as well. And then I took pictures of that, and X is where the gate is. And where the X is on the left is where the wall dies out, because that's exactly 36 inches from the brick. And then it goes up to 28, but it's straight all the way across. And it's just a type 2 cat picket white.
If I understand this, the way it's being presented with a horizontal wall and the fence above it, I'm okay with it, but I still don't see an elevation that really describes it very
And if you
accurately.
go down further, there's a
Unless I missed it.
picture of another one right around the corner. That's pretty much the same thing.
This is Angus. I have a question about the transition
it's the
from the
last picture.
patio height down to the sidewalk. Is there a step, and where is it?
She can't hear you.
It was over there.
I will text her.
Technology.
Should we move
Fails.
on to the next one until Linda can
36.
hear us?
What was that, Mickey?
Should we
And the
go to
type of
next
wall is going to be in
application
the next picture.
until Linda can connect?
That's the one to the immediate abutter to the south, I believe. His is 15 inches at the house and then sort of tapers off as it goes up the hill. Ours is actually going to die out, and this is the one around the corner at Pine Street.
So it goes down.
It does look better straight across the top instead of sloped. And the HDC last week didn't like the sloped idea
Right.
or the step down, so they wanted it just leveled, and so we leveled it across the top.
Yeah, they did like everybody's comments. So this is the elevation that you,
Trying to call her. I was going to put her on speakerphone, but no dice.
Oh, you want to call me? I can
Yes.
answer my phone.
Yeah,
yes.
I'm calling you now.
Hold on.
Linda,
This is all just too weird for me, this technology. All right, do you have questions that I can't hear?
okay. Can you hear us now?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Lucy, can you just say something?
Hi.
Barely.
Say it again.
Hi.
I can hear.
Okay.
All right, so Mickey had a question.
Okay, I guess it's more of a comment in that I see it in the south elevation, but it doesn't show, it just shows a couple sections of fence, but it doesn't show a gate. So can't we get an accurate elevation of the fence from the south?
You don't see it from the south. The addition in the front blocks it. That porch is inset. You can't see anything from the south. That whole piece coming out, the gable piece blocks it. Oh, I'm looking at south as if I'm coming up the hill. This is sort of southwest. This is all we've got in the file. They got nothing else in the file unless you go back to the site plan, which is the first page.
Well, I guess I'm suggesting that we ask the applicant to submit an elevation showing the street elevation of the fence with the gate in a more accurate manner.
Well, all I can do is move this over and keep drawing the fence. I mean, you're not going to get anything else because it's an open patio there. There's no structure to the left.
Right, we don't need to see the house, we need to see the fence.
Well, that's why the HDC asked me to string it, because they knew we didn't have anything else other than this. She inherited the house, and this is all that was in the file. That's what it is, right there. We don't own that Jeep in the garage to the left. We end at basically the tree. And we have to stay away from the tree roots, so we're sort of just on top of the tree roots.
I guess what we're suggesting is that there's an elevation that shows the house and the fence all the way, the full width of it,
Well,
from the right side to the left side where it meets the retaining wall.
Well, you have the house. That's all we've got is the house. And we put it in as best we could, which is why the HCC asked us to string it instead. Because there isn't an accurate elevation from the left side here. And it's not even that accurate because it was an old set of plans.
Is there a reason there aren't new set of plans showing it?
That's the most updated, but it's been altered slightly. But because all the other previous ones didn't have the porch on it. It had no Victorian porch. It had been taken off like 80 years ago, and they put it back on. And that's what those drawings are from, is that porch.
I'm missing something. Whenever something's proposed, there's a drawing of it that we look at.
Well, you got a drawing of the fence, and this is all that's ever required, is what kind of fence are you putting back? It's a type 2 cat picket fence. I don't know what else I can tell you.
But it's not a level ground. That makes sense when it's all the same, but it's varying from, it looks like 0 to 18 inches. And how does that look? And what happens with the gate, and where's the step? And
Anything's on the inside of that gate. The HDC told us to put it back on top of the wall. That's why it's on top of the wall.
Mhm.
They did not like your idea last week of going sloping, and equal and leveling off the gate. They wanted it straight across the top, like the other ones in the neighborhood, except for the one that stepped down dramatically.
There we go.
That's what they asked us to do because the historical pictures, which are not in this grouping, it's in the previous one, had the fence level on top of the wall. So they
And we-
asked me to recreate the wall, which is identical to the one next door, and put the fence back on top of the wall and make it level across the top without sloping down the hill. This is what they asked me to do. And
Here are
they asked
the
me to string
minutes.
it, and so we did.
All right, Lucy?
Yeah, is there any way, Holly, that you can pull up the historic photograph that was shown last week?
Yep, just bear with me.
They're in the, old- yeah,
Mike?
they're in the previous file.
Yeah, I have them.
My concern is that the way that the fence along the street turns and then hits to the porch, and then with the porch railing,
It's below the railing. It was just too high. We didn't want it, it would have been 40 some odd feet in the air.
All right, here we go.
There we
Bear
go.
with me.
One of the pictures is better than that one.
okay,
This
it's
one?
not on that one.
Keep going. Go to the next one. There you go.
So you're talking
On
about
top
this
of the
right
wall,
here.
it's level. And they asked me to put that back.
I don't see what the problem is. I think this looks fine, honestly. And I've run by this house a few times recently, looking at this, and the grade change is really not that significant. And it does look like from these photos that the fence is right out on the sidewalk, which is what you're proposing to do.
Yeah.
I think it would be nice to actually have an entry as opposed to a gate, kind of like what is shown in those historical photos. But
I think there's an animal involved.
Well, that doesn't matter. But another thing is Angus or Mickey brought up that the grade change from the patio to the street, and how is that being handled?
It's going to level, the patio is going to backfill into that ledge that you see now. They're going to put the grade back, and it's going to go run into the retaining wall. And then it will just slope down gradually to the retaining wall. There'll be a
But
step
it's not
inside
gonna-
the fence,
There's not going to be any step the way there
like
is
there is in the old picture.
in the historic photograph.
You're talking about that right there. Yeah.
Yes. That's probably about 10 inches.
Lost you.
12.
sorry about that.
So you can back over here to the revision.
And when you look at Fair Street, there is every kind of fence and stack and step and all color on that street. We just happen to be where it is dramatically different in grade. Going up to that neighbor's retaining wall that they're parked on top of.
Hey, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Linda, where the gate is, that's where the X on the photograph is, I assume?
Run that by me, that's where the gate is.
Okay, but on the photograph, there's an X right there.
This?
Yeah.
So
I think it's a
how
little bit
high is
more to the
that?
left. I
No,
think it's a
no,
little
no.
more to the left.
No, the tape, the X and the taping, not the red X. Yeah.
No, the red X is where it turns to 36 inches. So there's no retaining wall there, it dies there.
So the
Where's the
retaining wall goes from this X down here, correct?
Blue
Yep, and
line.
back to the porch. Yep.
Yep. Whereas it's going to be flush right here,
Uh-huh.
level. Okay, that makes sense.
Where is the gate?
The
Where
white
the
X.
X is.
Okay. And how high is the step at the gate?
Not very high. It's one step up
So it's
inside the fence.
It's a real legal step. It's not like it's going to be a 12-inch step or something like
Oh,
that.
hell no.
Okay.
No.
And does the gate look like the fence?
Yes. I just marked it with an X so you could see where it was.
Okay, I don't have any problem with this as long as it's consistent the way it's being shown.
I like the horizontal fence. I like that it's going back to what it was, but what it was before, as Brooke pointed out, there was an indentation for the step, and also the fence continued along the whole house, so there was a lot of continuity there. Can it still step in, and you still have, you have a.
You
There's
could
not
have a
really
gate
enough
about a
room.
foot in or whatever, just to show that.
It doesn't, that would look crazy, frankly. To me, it would look nuts because everybody else on the street is flush. There's not an inset gate anywhere up there. It just runs this gate, it just runs the fence straight across, and we don't want anybody actually to know there's a gate there. We just want it to look like the rest of the fence. We don't really have enough room to step it in and make much sense out of that. That would require another retaining wall going into the porch, into the patio, and we don't want that. We just want one retaining wall, a step up, and then move on.
Angus?
Well, it's showing that the patio, and I'm looking at the site plan, and it looks like the patio only comes out as far as it's constructed now in line with the porch. So what happens between there and the gate?
Yeah, that's what I wanted
It
to know.
slopes down to the retaining wall. That's why we have a retaining wall. Because it's a little bit higher and the guy right next to us is really high. That's why they have a big, huge wall. We're
So-
just gonna gradually slope it off.
Linda?
But you're saying it's going to slope down. What is the material that is sloping down? That patio is,
Grass
you've got that.
and plantings.
So is it grass? Is it brick? There's nothing to
Oh, no,
indicate.
it's not brick. It's grass and plantings. They're gonna put some of the hydrangeas and stuff back in there.
In front of the fence? Or are you just going
Yeah,
to
Yeah,
have
behind the
like-
fence.
or
Behind the
like a
fence.
little doormat of grass?
So it's gonna be grass and plantings. That's what was there before.
So basically from the edge of the patio to the gate is gonna be grass with what, vegetation planted around the tree?
Yeah, vegetation, probably the hydrangeas or boxwoods going back in there. Or hollies.
I
Because
I think if we're using the historic precedent, it shows an indentation, which is actually really nice looking. When you look at the tape, the height of the wall is just about the same height as the patio. So
Patio's level.
the patio and the tape are level.
The patio is level.
Is the patio level with the tape?
It's level with itself.
with
It's kind of
the tape
hard to
goes back-
explain because of the grade change.
Where
But the
tape
patio is
goes
far
back-
enough away from the street that it's level.
And this,
And that'll be sloped down to the wall.
follow
With
that tape
plantings.
all the way to the porch. See how it's just about in line with the patio?
Yeah, it has an 8-inch rise.
This is where we
8.5.
need an elevation.
See that base wall, the retaining wall, that blue tape, when you follow it all the way back to the porch, it looks like it hits the porch at the same height that the patio does, which is telling me that all that is the same height level.
No, it's slightly higher than the patio. We measured it. It's slightly higher. By the time it gets back to the porch, it's slightly higher. You can see the stick against the post. That's pretty
And you're
much where
gonna
the railing
plant
hits,
behind the
about
gate, or you're
halfway
gonna
down
leave
the
a little
post.
path open to the gate?
What was that?
You're gonna plant in between the gate and the patio, or are you gonna leave like a grass path there?
He's gonna obviously not plant directly inside the gate. He's gonna plant where the plants used to be, which is all over the place, except for there.
But that's
There's
back
a-
to my question. What's that material that's on the inside of the gate?
Run that by me again.
When you go through that gate, what material are you going to be stepping on? You're not going to be stepping on hydrangeas because then there'd be no
No.
point in having the gate.
As I just said, you're not planting inside the gate itself. Nobody does that. So there would be no plantings right there between there and the patio. It's
But
very,
what's
it's only about
material?
5 feet.
All right. So I think what the question is, Linda, is will there be any kind of a, like a little stepping stone even, or just a little cobble pathway?
I would assume that's going to be some sort of a stepping stone. That would make the most sense,
Okay,
because that's how you're going to get onto the porch as well.
okay.
But it's
So,
going to be in the ground.
all right, so that answers that question. So we've got like a little stone path up to the patio. We've got planting on the right and on the left of the gate as you open it. And then you would step up onto the patio,
Step
correct?
level, well, level into the patio. We're going to grade it up to the point where you just walk straight on. You know, we're not going to step up to the patio. The patio is going to be graded out.
Right, but you're gonna step up from the street.
Yes.
Gotcha. All right, so if you're stepping up to the street and then you've got that little runway to the patio, why not inset the gate a little bit so that it looks kind of like what was there?
Yeah,
I don't want, I can't tell you anything else. They don't want to do it and they're not going to do it. So you can make whatever recommendation you like, but that's what I was sent back with.
All right, then we'll make that recommendation and then the HDC can discuss
Can
it.
battle it out, yep.
Okay, all right. So Angus, would you cobble together something simple for me?
Please.
As a motion?
just to, well, that we like it horizontal. We like reproducing what was there historically that's shown in the photo with the fence on a wall, but we'd like to also have the gate entrance resemble what is in the photo with whatever step is necessary to get up to the patio from the sidewalk.
All right. So are we all in agreement?
I'd like to add something that I think on the final plans for approval, that the materials used from the street through the gate to the patio should be indicated.
Bluestone. What the
Well,
patio
I
is
think
is
it's got to
bluestone.
be
I'll
in
put it on the
writing and
thing.
on a plan.
I'll put it on the plan.
And as Mickey mentioned in the beginning, I don't see why we can't have an elevation of this. If it doesn't exist, let's draw it.
That's easier said than done, and this is hardscape, and I've done a lot of hardscape, and I've never gone through this before with any fence in town. So
Right.
this is what the HCC asked me to give them, and this is what we gave them.
It was put on their view, yeah.
They really wanted a site plan, which we gave them.
All right, can we, someone want to motion that we all agree to this suggestion?
I'll motion.
All right, second? All
Second.
right. Thank you.
I'm still here. Don't put your phone away.
You got the
Okay.
next one, don't you?
Yep.
Okay, 15 Broad.
You know my data, Linda. I got a pay-as-you-go service.
I just hope my phone doesn't die. My flip phone.
All right, here we go, 15 Broad. So here are the minutes from the meeting with the HDC.
They asked me to come back with a site plan, which we gave them. We were able to find one that actually worked for this.
Can you slow down at that application? I didn't see that.
Sorry,
Thank you.
no problem.
What's the original date of this building?
I don't know.
Is this the
The
NA?
one that we're attached to is the shop, and that was built when, in the 90s?
Yeah, this is the NHA, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Peter
Whale Museum.
Folger's 1847 is Peter Folger.
But that
the,
little addition is really
The shop building is, I don't know,
Newer than
1990
that.
somewhere.
Yeah,
They moved the Discovery Center out of the candle factory and put it in that little shop, and then the shop went into the candle factory. It's hard to see it, these tiny.
Hold on. I'm
You
zooming in.
asked us to not do a 5-in-1 fence, and the HCC liked that idea of not the 5-in-1 fence, so it's now a 5-foot board fence. No lattice. And then the deck was readjusted because they wanted it inside the window that was closest to the sidewalk. And they shortened it back to 12 feet by 26. We measured it against the building, and it's inset into the ground. So they can handicap access it right out of the back of the Discovery Center. And then the ramp that's out of that door now is going on the outside of this so they can get down to grade. But it's gonna be virtually in grade by the time it gets to the grass.
Lucy, you have any thoughts?
I'm just thankful that there's finally a plot plan.
Okay, Angus,
I'm fine with it.
Mickey?
I'm fine. I have a question though. So Linda, the deck and the ramp goes down to a grass lawn.
Now it does. It does now coming out that back door. So we're gonna
Okay,
move
but
the
you said
ramp
it's out-
out to the outside of the 12 feet if it's necessary. But it looks right now, because the grade changes slightly, that the deck will be actually level embedded into the ground.
So the back area is going to remain lawn where the deck and ramp are not.
Yes. Now, there is a miniature lighthouse going over there, and I indicated where that is. And I've
And
already
what's-
told them that we're gonna have to put an opening there and put handicap accessible material down around it, which is that stuff they use in Plymouth, which is almost mulch, but it's heavier than mulch.
Yeah.
We used to use it at the playground here.
Yeah, we don't like it. I know
I don't
it's
like it either, but it's
all
it's
acceptable, but
provable.
we don't like it. So is that the material that's going to go around the lighthouse?
Yes.
So
We're still looking at what it is, but it's
I'm
heavy
fine.
heavy mulch.
I'm fine with what you're proposing for HDC purposes, but I'm a little concerned about accessibility issues because you're putting in play structures with no accessible route to get to it.
Well, that's come up. They do have a path in here. So I'm working with them on how to get from point A to point B. I told them we're gonna have to figure out a path of travel.
Okay, well, that'll need to be shown on this plan too.
When we come up with it, but right now they need to get the deck done and the fences up. Because
My
they need the social
understanding was that
distance if you
Hang
can't.
on,
figure it
Angus, hang on. Lucy?
Is the lighthouse even accessible?
It's gonna have to be, otherwise nobody can get into it and it just sits there and looks pretty.
No, but for handicap, I think that's might be.
Well, if the public's not allowed in it at all, we don't have to make it handicap accessible. It's just sitting there so the kids can think that they're out in the ocean somewhere.
So it's not a play structure.
Not planned right now. When we figure that out, I'll have to come back for a path of travel and rearrange where the existing walkway is.
Okay. Well,
Angus?
yeah, please include the Disability Commission in on that too, please.
Yep.
Thanks.
Mr. McLeod?
Oh, just to Mickey's point, my understanding was that this deck was going to be basically the same level as the doorway so that people could come, I trust, whoever's playing would come out of the door and it would all be level.
Yes.
Mickey, are you talking about a ramp to the outside through a gate?
No, he's talking about trying to get to the lighthouse.
No, I mean originally about the deck area.
The deck is level with the threshold. That ramp that comes out of the door now is going to move to the outside. You can see where it is.
Yep.
We have to be careful of that tree, which is why we had to make the deck, narrower front to back. But if we need the ramp, it'll go to the outside of that deck. If it's level in the ground, we won't need a ramp because it'll be level to the ground. But coming out of the door, it's going to be level with the threshold.
All right, may I interrupt here for a second? Linda, I think you're correct. The grade does go up at that. If you're looking at the plan right now, the left-hand upper corner is going to be almost at grade. So any ramp, you'll almost be able to build the grade up to the ramp or up to the deck at that point.
Yeah, that's what we plan on.
So,
I was going to just bring that up. If there's any part like you're mentioning that is level with the grade, why not put the gate there and go out at grade rather than having another structure, a ramp built?
We don't have a gate. What gate?
What gate?
But isn't the ramp going off the back of the fenced in area? Yeah. What's
It's in the
that?
ground. There's no gate.
No fence.
Oh, that area is not fenced. It's just a deck.
Yeah, it's just a deck.
Oh, okay.
Oh my God, don't add another fence.
Well, the ramp is also, to me, it seems a lot larger than what's indicated on this drawing. I
Well,
mean,
this is
ramp
the
looks-
surveyed plan.
No, but how you inked in the ramp is, I think, is not how, if you're going to use the existing ramp, which looks like it's probably 8 feet or 6 feet. I mean, it's the height of, at least, of that door. So it's going to come out a lot farther.
The door is not that far off the ground. The ramp is
I'm
made,
talking about
2
the
feet out.
length of the ramp being close to the height of the door in
I don't know
measurement.
what you're saying. The deck is going to be at the height of the door threshold. If we
No,
need a
no,
ramp,
no.
I'm showing you where the ramp is going.
How high is that door, Linda? How tall is it?
It's
What do you
like
mean, off the
60
ground?
Ground.
No, I mean, is that an 8-foot door, 7-foot door? The
I
green
don't
door.
think it matters. It's a handicap door. You can go look at the pictures. I
Okay,
think the pictures are probably in this.
stop. Listen to what I'm saying.
Down below.
Listen to what I'm saying. In the photograph that's been submitted, the existing ramp on the ground now is certainly
It's
a
down below,
lot
Holly.
longer than what you have indicated on your
Keep going.
plot plan.
It is not a lot longer than what I have indicated because the grade goes up. So the ramp is very short for an actual ramp. So no, that's not correct.
It is, Ed.
Keep going. Somewhere in here, it shows up. There it is.
Okay.
If we need that ramp, we will move whatever we have to outside, but we will not need the depth of that ramp because the grade goes up, and by the time it gets to the end of the 12 feet, it's going to be probably embedded in the ground. So we'll not need a ramp. We may reuse this if we are readjusting at the lighthouse when we figure that out.
So if this whole deck is basically at, in level
In
with
grade.
the bottom of the door, that means that this will be dug up, the grade will be dug up so that the joists aren't, so that there's room for them and there's air underneath them, right?
Not as what as he's planning. He says this is embedded in the ground here now. He's not planning to dig up anything that we don't need to, just to get it level and on the ground and level with the threshold. So
I
it's
guess-
literally in the ground.
What I'm getting at is that there will be a certain amount of dirt around. Why not just make sure that the ground is level with the deck around it, so there isn't an accessibility issue? If anything,
Well,
you want the grade to slope away from the deck anyway.
That is something he's gonna have to figure out in the field. And when we get to the end where he's standing is the 12-foot zone. You can see how the grade goes up towards him again. So it's gonna be level with the threshold and they will be able to get off for handicap purposes. That's it. Whether we need a ramp to get off it or not, we don't know until we put the thing in the ground. He's planning on leveling right in the ground, not elevated.
Okay, all right, let's stop this. It's gonna work. Just looking, it's gonna work. It's gonna be fine. Would someone make a motion, please? I think we're good. This is a
I'll make a
really
motion.
simple application.
I'm making a motion.
All right, thank you. And what would you like to, what is the consensus then, Mr. Rowland?
I'm fine with the deck. I think it's going to be fairly level, and if it's not, there will be a very short ramp, if it's even needed, to get off the deck down to the existing grade. I want to make a comment about this in the last application, though. Linda, I think probably part of the problems we're having with both of these applications is we're not looking at accurate scale drawings. And it would be much easier in the future to submit a drawing that is more accurate because you're just doing marker on old plans. So
Actually, it was scaled to the plan. Just so you know, it was scaled to the plan. Because I had the large plan, remember, that we had to reduce, so it doesn't look like it, but the large plan was 1/4 inch, and we 1/4 inch scaled the wall and the fence on the big plans.
well, to me, it's not this scale and size of the drawing that we probably would be more helpful to see. So
Well,
I'm
if
not-
I have them, I
I'm
I
certainly
agree,
will,
Vic.
but that was a weird
particular.
situation.
I'm just saying in the future, can you please submit scaled, more accurate drawings?
Okay, but it was scaled. I'll just try to get the whole drawing in there.
Thank you.
Is that it?
Yep.
All right. Angus, you okay with this?
I am. I just don't think that it's necessary to have a ramp if the grade is the level with the deck the whole way around.
Right. But she needs the option. That's it. I mean, and it may or may not happen, and we have to be okay with it or not okay with it. But really, it's the HDC that has to be okay with it or not okay with it. We may like it or not like it. I think we would prefer to see no ramp if possible.
I would too.
We agree on that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying if there is a need for a ramp, what happens in the areas where the ramp isn't? There's a ledge that, so if someone's in a wheelchair or something, they roll off or something.
Well,
No, it's less than the required height. I was on the Commission on Disability for 28 years. There is no requirement for a buttress and there is no requirement for a fence under a certain height. So long as they can get on and off the ramp, as this is actually way below the requirement, we're fine.
I'm not concerned about a fence. I'm just saying that if there's a difference of 4, 6 inches or whatever between grade and the deck, enough to have a ramp, that what happens, on the rest of the deck where the ramp isn't, there's a drop off.
Yes, and it's not required under the law, under the code, under the ADA, not required to meet grade all the way around. However, we're going to try not to have a ramp by the time we get to the terminus. That's all I can tell you. But the ramps are exempt from codes, they're exempt from setbacks, they're exempt from ground cover because of a reason.
I think the goal here is to have a deck, and I'm fine with the deck. And I think it's really easy to have the grade meet the deck all the way around the deck. So that's.
Why don't you just make
That's
that a
what we're going to
recommendation?
try to do.
So are we
Okay.
all in agreement on something?
Jesus.
Oh, I think that's the motion.
Okay, great. Second? Somebody?
Second.
All right. The chair agrees. So next.
Next, I'm out.
See ya.
See ya.
Bye. All right. Next one is 58 Walsh. All right. So this was before the HGC on the 23rd. So of course you guys didn't get to see previous. This is an infill lot.
Holly, we haven't seen this before, have we?
No, you have not. But this is the second time around it's gone to the commission. So, there were stuff that came in with COVID before getting you guys going. So, but
Saw this last week.
so, 2020 is just a lovely year, isn't it? So if you look, I know it's really, really light to see. You look down here on the locust map, it's this lot right here that was cut out. So it's an infill lot. And this is a new dwelling.
Can I make a comment on this one?
Yes.
I I think the massing on this is very awkward. This is a 2-story building on top of a 6-foot or so elevated platform, or elevated 5 or 6 feet out of the ground. And I think that the massing is really awkward. It's very skinny. The 2 gables facing forward are awkward with each other. One of them's actually a recessed porch. And it's just, and the huge long deck and railing, I think this needs to be rethought. I think it should be rethought as a 1.5-story building rather than a 2-story building. And I think that would bring some eve lines down. I think the neighborhood would support that more, consistently. I just think this is starting off in the wrong direction.
I agree with Mickey. Do we have any contextual pictures?
I don't believe so, but I will tell you there were some strong comments from the HTC on
Yeah,
this.
I agree with Abby Camp. I mean, this looks like condos.
Yeah, I do.
Lots
I agree.
of windows.
It's like that awful thing down on Easton Street.
Yeah, it looks like a wall,
Mm-hmm.
one big wall.
And is it really necessary for it to be up that high?
Yeah, I don't think we have anything else, but I'll double check.
Ray asked for that at the HTC meeting. I don't know what the result of that was.
Yeah.
This is the resubmittal based on that meeting, so I don't see it.
This is?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I think I was actually at the meeting and I saw this go through, and I don't really see any difference
I don't either.
between what we're looking at now and what was, up at that meeting. Is this the last drawing on that?
Yes.
It's some simple window changes. They unganged a couple windows and changed
Yeah.
the front door.
Yeah. No, I agree with Mickey. This thing needs to be brought down at least a few feet, 3-4 feet anyway.
I don't even mind the overall height. I know it's because it's raised up, it's going to be a tall building. I just think the eave lines need to be much lower and the massing maybe wider to accommodate that. But these tall, narrow gables just do not work.
Yeah, it could be a little more graceful looking, and definitely.
Yeah.
It's not graceful at all.
I was going to say that's a reach.
Yeah.
All right, so we're all in agreement on this one, right?
Yeah, I would like photographs too of the neighborhood.
Yeah, very good.
And, and if someone's going to try doing this kind of height stuff, I'll say it again, story poles.
Yeah, I think this was put on their view. I think it was. There should be polls out there, I think. I can confirm that in a minute. But I'm pretty sure this was.
Have all the neighbors been notified?
I would sit here and assume. I don't go through the application to confirm that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's another reason to have story poles. I mean, if all of us were down in that neighborhood, what
Right.
the connection would be.
I believe this was put on view. But pretty much, I would say that any of my comments and the commission's comments were really not addressed. So you guys are all on the same page.
All right,
Thank you.
I think we're ready to move on. Yes, no?
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
Great.
All right, next one, 12 Lincoln. All right. And just so you're aware, this is the old business checklist that Kathy created. All right, so for 12, this was for reciting the pool. at 12 Lincoln.
Can you go back to the minutes? I want to finish
Yep,
reading.
oh, I'm sorry. Right. Yes, right here.
All right. Okay, thank you.
Here's a rendering of what it would. Whoa.
So the application is to shift the pool. Is that it?
Yes, it was more. Here, I'm going to annotate.
More north?
Or was it not?
Yeah, I believe it was more this direction. So you couldn't see this way. That makes any sense.
That doesn't make any sense at all.
It was more, I think, over this way.
Right. So is that new patio? Is that patio with the fire pit? Is that new?
I'm not aware. Let's look at the rest of these plans.
Because that's what would push that pool that way.
Holly, are you looking for a previous submittal just to see where the pool was?
Well, it should be in this package.
Okay.
So I saw the landscaping. Wow. Thought it was included in this one. Pool itself. Okay. Well, this is all we've got. So this is, I guess, not what I was thinking it was.
Do we know what the little
Did
rectangle?
they actually move the pool?
That's what I thought this application was, to recite the pool.
Application again?
To recite the pool for 12 Lincoln.
Well, what the actual application says.
Yeah, let's see.
'Cause-
Where was it?
all right, so that's not the application. Where's the application?
No, it's not. All right, what meeting was this?
Well, from the HDC
June
notes, it says
23rd.
landscape design plans. No.
See where it says it's right here, recite the pool. So
Right, but
right, let me, June 23rd, bear with me. I got them on here for a second. So you can guys can take a look at those. 23rd, HCC.
Seems like it would have been part of the application showing
That's-
previous
Yeah.
and then proposed.
That's why I'm confused, and I apologize, but I thought that's what it would be too. All right, 12, relocate the pool. And you're gonna see, you're gonna be like, oh, okay. What I was thinking we were going to see. So here's the application that came in for June 23rd. So relocate previously approved pool. And
that's interesting. It doesn't say how and
so
Yeah.
here's the lot. This is why I was drawing on there.
okay, there it is. All right.
So before, you couldn't really see it coming this way because it was located where the orange is.
Hmm.
Then I caught the tail end of they moved the cabana over, and I meaning being involved with the review process, moved the cabana over, and then now the pool being shifted this direction.
I honestly don't have any concerns. I mean, there are buildings all around it, and they're probably, for their own privacy, they're probably going to have hedges or plantings or whatever within, the drive area and out front. I don't even think you'll see it.
And in contrast, I think that's why they provided these to give that.
Mhm.
My question is the pool equipment inside the cabana? Where is that?
I don't know.
Well, judging by that rendered site plan, it looks like it's on the back side of the guest house. Yeah, if you go, Holly, if you go
Yep.
to the, oh, that's all AC. But
Want me to go back to that site plan?
Oh, what is that fence that's shown there? You know, in front of the car beside the garage?
Which fence, Angus?
Which fence? This?
Your arrow's on it there now. Yeah.
The gate?
Yeah. Is that like a 5-foot fence or something?
Well, there's a fence that they have, a wire mesh fence that's going around the property, which is what I had a question about.
I would imagine that that's inside a hedge.
Well, I wasn't sure about that. I actually went up there before lunch. It looks like on the drawings, it's outside of their landscaping. And the property to the north, or some of them have hedges, so you wouldn't see it. But my question is that what happens if the neighbors cut down their hedges and then you've got this inappropriate looking fence visible from the street on both sides of the property? This is what I'm talking about.
That would be a nightmare.
Yes, and so that, it was unclear to me exactly if the hedge, I think on the south side of the property, actually belonged to this property or to the neighbors. The hedge to the north, it looked to me is on the site plan that it belonged to the northern neighbors. But then if the neighbors decide to cut down their hedges, then we're all looking at this wire mesh.
I thought
Yeah,
that
they're
wire
not gonna
mesh fences happened within the property where you owned the hedge on either side of it and had to maintain it.
Holly, go to the site plan so we can see that hedge. There it is. I think the hedge is on their property.
This is a busy plan.
It is. I see the dashed lines showing property lines, I'm assuming, and the hedge is inside of that.
Well, if you just inside that dash dot line is, at least on my, if you enlarge it, you do see the beige line that to me indicated that that was the wire mesh fencing.
Yeah, I don't even see where that fencing is on the plan.
Are you talking about this like light dashed line?
No, I'm farther up. Just, for instance, just north of the cabana, there's a slight line below,
Right here.
farther up, just on the other right, just below the dash line. It's visible.
Oh,
that's a setback line.
No,
Yeah,
no,
that's what I was
no,
thinking.
I'm talking above, just inside the property line. It looks like there's a fence line.
okay. So this,
No, right there. Yeah, that I think is
Well-
the fencing.
I think there is a fence here.
Well, that, and then it turns the corner. From there,
Yeah.
it goes up, and then it turns the corner. I
I'm
think
gonna
that's
zoom.
the mesh fencing.
I'm gonna zoom
Yeah,
in.
I see what Luke
So
is
it's
saying.
here. Yeah. Okay.
That's probably accurate. It's right on the property line,
It
not
is on
in
the
the,
property line.
not in the hedge at all.
Yeah,
Right.
and the
Then we
return-
have a gate here. So that would be kind of weird if that fencing had a gate to it.
My
Yeah,
guess
it doesn't.
is
I
that's
think that's-
type 2 fence.
I think that's wood fence.
Yeah,
It's a
I
different.
agree. Yep.
But you've got the same thing going on the southern property line too, with the same fence deal.
Right.
And
See
it
that?
goes to the edge of the
Yeah.
garage, which also continues over here where the gate is here. So that's definitely got to be that wood fence, I would think.
All right, so how about this? How about that, what you'd like to see is that any fence be located on the inside of the hedges all the way around as opposed to on the outside of the hedges.
Are they applying for this fence at this time, or is that already?
Oh, this is just about moving the pool, isn't it?
It's landscaping in the pool, I believe.
Is it the whole hardscaping plan?
Yeah,
Let's look at the site, the application, because that's where there might have been a supplemental.
That's just the pool.
Yep.
All right, I don't mind. I mean, we've got to assume that they've already talked about this fence thing at the HDC.
Are you guys okay with the relocation of the pool?
I am.
Okay. Fine.
Yep. Okay.
You know, like, you know, do you see on the plan those 4 rectangular blocks on either side of the pool?
Umbrellas.
Yep.
I'm assuming those are awnings or umbrellas, not structures.
Umbrellas. Yeah.
Palapas.
Very pretty. All right.
well, I would like to make a notation is if this is the land's hardscaping plan and if the fencing has already been approved, if it has not been approved, I do have a question about that mesh fencing, which,
I think it's worth bringing up. I think, yeah, Holly, if you could add that somewhere to the notes.
because it says here on the application when they have a typical elevation of, it says perimeter fence. Way down at the bottom. And then they have the picture of the, what do I know, that cedar and black wire mesh.
Right, so they are including it in this application, even though that it's for a pool relocation.
Right.
It's true, it's on this drawing, this application.
Okay, so then I think,
The next one down, I think in the next drawing down.
Right. But I think this is what they're proposing, kind of like the
That's
adjacent.
the decorative fence. I think that's for
Right.
the dates. This is the perimeter fence. That's what I'm talking about.
Mm,
all right, so how about if the wire fence is a part of this application, which it appears that it is, then you would like it to be on the inside of the privet. Does that make sense, Lucy?
Well, I would say that it shouldn't be,
Just,
perimeter fence should not be visible from the neighbor's properties.
well, I think if you say that
No,
if you put it on the inside of the privet, then
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
then you're making it so that if the neighbor rips down their privet, it's still not visible.
Right. You're right. Thank you.
But what if their privet dies and there's just this wire fence?
Well, that's what in perpetuity means.
exactly.
All right, moving on.
You wish.
Let's stall a little.
Fine, I'm gonna leave my stuff unmuted and go to the bathroom.
All right. 19, Lily.
All right, we're being recorded.
So yes, you are. So you all remember this one, the hardscape. Oh, sorry, it's scanned weird, so it's coming in odd. This is where they got this secondary driveway. This was in lieu of the photographs that you all had asked for. It has been viewed, and my understanding, there's been view poles put out there as well.
Looks like he's identified the height of the retaining walls at 24 inches.
May I see the locus,
Yes.
please?
That's the as-built. Hold on, let me see. There we go.
Oh,
You want the overall.
Yeah,
Sorry.
sorry.
Yep. Right here.
All right, can you zoom in?
Yep. Ugh, sorry.
Okay. Gotcha. And all right, so there's the addition is right there.
Yes, so it was on this side.
And so this is for a driveway with retaining.
Yes, so they got a secondary driveway access special permit from the planning board. So they had the existing drive here,
Yeah.
the second drive over here. So this is what it's going to look like.
And what is the cobblestone?
Which I think this is the supplemental that was provided after you, HSAB's original comments.
Yeah. Is that even deep enough for cars? I mean, I don't mind it, but
It says 18 feet. It's enough, fairly.
it's 9 by 20 is the minimum.
Yeah, but it's a secondary driveway.
And the planter, how much room does that take?
You see the dimension on the drawing? If you look at the site plan, the colored site plan, it's got some dimensions on it.
Is the grade going to be raised?
The driveway surface dimension is sloped.
So they're saying that the driveway is 18 deep. Are they able to have less than 20 because they already have a driveway?
I'm not privy to.
It's not a required driveway, parking space, right? It's a secondary.
Right.
I'm just wondering if it could be pushed in a little bit more, that's all. I don't care how wide it is. I just think it'd be nice to have the cars as far off the street as possible.
Gotcha.
Just gonna
So
make it here.
you're
Oh, I see.
talking about this here?
Yeah, like why?
Having it.
Yeah. But I don't know. I'm not going to make a fuss about it. I'd like to see the dirt be brought up as much as possible, though, because it looks like there was a lot that was stripped away.
Well, it's good, I think, Brooke, that there's that planting area in front of that huge bare brick wall.
Yeah.
That'll reduce the height of that a little bit.
All right. All right. Okay. Lucy, any thoughts?
I wasn't sitting on this before, and I had recused myself because David's on the land council board.
Okay. Angus, do you have any more thoughts?
Before I didn't really understand what was happening with the, that walkway and the stairs coming down from the front stoop, and then there was a walkway and then a stair and then the grass. And I think we had asked for a section perpendicular to the street showing what was happening between the house and the street. It's hard to tell, again, what's happening with the walk and the steps and how that works. I mean, if that's part of the proposal, if it's more than just the parking. Like what's happening to the left side of the drive?
Is that existing?
This is the entire
Maybe that's existing,
hardscape.
Angus.
Yeah, all this is existing.
But to the left of there, where there's that, it looks like brick colored walkway. Yeah, there. And then the steps and retaining and the grass and the hedge. It's,
Look at the drawing. It's a photograph. It's the lower left. Well, not the lower
Right
left.
here?
But it's in the middle of the page. It's a whole page of photographs. Far
oh,
left.
so there's a retaining wall and then the steps go up onto a terraced grass level.
Exactly. I think that's all existing.
Okay. God, that house is, I mean, the foundation is so much exposure there. It's so funny.
It is. And it's kind of weird. There's no windows in that other one. It's just a big brick wall.
Yeah, it kind of makes more sense when you see some windows in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't have a problem with the cobblestone parking area, if that's the question here.
All right. Mickey, do you have anything?
No, I'm fine with it. You know, he's indicating a grass strips in that parking, which sounds good, although we didn't really describe how that's going to look.
Yeah, that would be,
Yeah, so it'll just be cobblestone and grass, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, that's great.
Yep.
I have no concerns. You guys?
Yeah.
Angus?
well, are they trying to fit 2 cars in there?
Trying to keep me from eating lunch or what?
I want to see how long you can hold it. No, but are they trying to get 2 cars in there? Is it going to be grass, cobble, grass, cobble, grass, cobble, grass, cobble? Like a whole bunch of stripes?
Probably 2 stripes of grass in the middle.
It'll be one big mohawk.
I don't know. It looks like it's going to be cobblestone with grass in the middle, all around, and there's no delineation.
It's 18 feet wide. They're going to try to put 2 cars in there.
Yeah.
So there's going to be, the grass strip will be right underneath the middle of the car. So there'll be 2 of them.
Underneath 2 cars. So there are 2 grass strips and then 3 cobbles.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know if this grass goes all the way beginning to end. I don't know. It's not shown.
It seems kind of busy. I'd just stick with the cobbles there. But
Yeah.
what do you
I don't
think,
really-
Brooke?
Well, the way it's drawn, it looks like it's just a bunch of cobbles with space between them, and
Right.
the grass grows up through them, and I like it. Okay?
Yeah, let the weeds grow in.
Sure.
That would be
Winter
good.
time. All right. Are we done? I mean,
With this,
Yep.
all right.
Yes.
Moving on.
So the last thing on the agenda, I had a request about our application discussion under other business. That's for you, Lucy.
Okay, I brought this up because it seemed to me, and just to use an example, the first 2 applications we dealt with today, is that the applications were incomplete. It kind of ticks me that people can't be bothered to put in the date of the buildings. And also that, you know, there's so much time wasted on discussion of this when plot plans are available. If you looked at the date on those 2 applications, one was, 2019, and the other one was, I can't remember when, but this is information that was available. And I find it in a way insulting that so much discussion is put into these applications and time is wasted, and it's our time. We spend a lot of time volunteering. The HDC spends a lot of time volunteering. And to have to spend this time dealing with people or applicants or representatives who are getting paid for this. And then it's also the overburdened staff of the town like Holly. I don't think it's fair. I think there should be some sort of method that the applications are screened. And I know 2020 is a very difficult year to deal with this, but I think if there's a checklist or something, and so that if the applications are not complete, especially when they're submitted by people who are in the business, they should be thrown back. I do understand that if a homeowner is representing themselves, and I have been there myself, that it should be treated a little bit more gently, because we're not professionals. We don't know, we haven't been through the process. But bottom line is, I just think that so much time is wasted by volunteers and town staff, and there's delays. And if the applications were screened for proper submission, that it would save us a lot of headache, and it would probably result in the applicants or homeowners getting approvals more quickly.
I
There
don't
you
see
have
it
it.
happening.
Holly, what are your thoughts about that?
Well, before COVID, it was, an issue. Putting it after COVID or during COVID, it's more of an issue. But you can have as many checklists in the world as you possibly can. Not everybody's going to follow them. And I can tell you that Kathy has done a magnificent job on getting the information available on the HDC's webpage through our public outreach coordinator all the time. COVID facts, learn to understand what to expect. As of right now, we know it's not business as usual. So there are going to be applications that come in that are not 100%, not filled out, not provided, what have you. Kathy does a really good job of trying to get people's attention. Hey, this needs to be provided. Matter of fact, I was copied on one just this week for somebody that she found. But, we understand. All I can say is, the staff here, the admin staff, they handle more than just HDC. And now more than ever, it's even more intense. As far as people asking for information and asking for them to do things because of COVID, because the fact that, our office is only open on a case-by-case basis. You have to set up an appointment for one person to come in at a time. So of course that, it's just a lot of different things. All we can do is, do the best we possibly can. I will say this, that the town for quite a few years now have been working on a software program. I was used to using the same exact software program before I came back home to Nantucket, so I know it works. It's called Intergov, and staff has been using it for quite a while now, and we're going to be going into a second phase with IT where applicants will be able to submit online, and I think that that will give a level of scrutiny, if you will, because you're not going to be able to move forward without having X, Y, and Z. Whereas right now, there are things that get missed. But I think, like I said, almost, it's not just HDC. I mean, when I was on the planning board, we had applications that were incomplete as well. I know the zoning board, same thing. It's all about the human component, and staff can only do so much. But it's something that we're aware of. Just doing the best we can. All I can say.
Can I just say that, when we do, when they get through the application and it comes to us and we find that the application is incomplete, and as it did in the first two applications today, resulted in much longer review time than necessary, that we can just tell the applicant that we need more information, and we'll put it aside until the next meeting when we get it.
Well, I will say this, those two that came back as an old business, the HDC did look at those original applications, gave the applicant, what they're looking for. I didn't review it before it came to you. I was looking at it at the same exact time. So, it's kind of hard for me to say to my colleagues, hey, this isn't what was necessary. I think, when those are a little bit different, the HDC can say, hey, we want X, Y, and Z on them. Again,
Can we say it?
Well,
Can
I
you
what I'm saying is, I don't think it's fair to the HDC staff and you all work very hard. And I also think it's not fair to all of us on HSAB and HDC. Especially when it's from people who know better. That's what bothers me. These people know better. They're leaving out information. Why are they leaving out their information? Are they being sloppy, lazy, or trying to get something sneaked through? And they're wasting our time in the meantime.
Mhm.
I think that
Please don't take any of this personally, Holly, because you do a great job.
thank you.
there should be a better gatekeeper when they're receiving the applications. It just takes time, and I know that
I get that. I know that it takes a lot of time and they can't catch everything, but what I'd like to think is that by the time it gets to us and it's not there and they should have known better,
that
we
it
could
just
say,
stopped.
yeah, stop and we'll look at it once you submit the information.
But do we have that authority? I mean, we're not the HDC.
Well, we can stop it, but will the HDC review it without our review? And that's what I guess we need to know better.
I would imagine that they'll just go ahead and look at it regardless.
It probably will.
So,
As an advisory board role, yes. I mean, it's their application. You are at the end of the day, and I appreciate your time. I know they do too. But at the end of the day, you are just an advisory board giving your comments, your feedback, and they do. I do see it. They do respect it. They do take it in consideration. I think they've also had their own. You're not the only ones to have concerns on incomplete applications. They do as well. I've heard it time and time again. But again, I also think back to, yes, we realize right now, you guys are probably seeing it a little bit more than ever, and we are too. But COVID is just we're all in a million different directions, and we do realize that time is precious, and trying to do the best we can. That's all I can say. As far as moving forward, I think this new software is going to help that. I really do, because you're not going to be able to move forward until you have X. I hate to say, sometimes taking the human element out of it sometimes helps, and hopefully in that regard it will. So we're moving into that realm where you guys, whoever submits, will be able to submit online. I don't know how it's going to be as far as staff reviewing, but there is that component to it. So all good things.
Holly,
Well,
once the new system starts, is it possible for you to check with, just check with the HDC and see if this is, Brooke, see if this is something that if there isn't a moment where the application is being received at plus, that people aren't realizing that it's incomplete. If it gets as far as it does to the advisory boards and it's still incomplete, can you check with the HDC to see if we can be the people who say, no, it's not complete, bring it back when it is complete?
Like the gatekeeper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we don't want to be the gatekeeper, but we will be if no one else is.
Well, we'd be saving the HTC people committee time too.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're asking them to authorize us to be an application review enforcement situation as well.
Holly, will you relay part of this discussion onto the HDC committee?
I can do that.
Well, it
would
depends
probably
on
be
how everybody else feels.
right. I can do that through the chair, and then if he obviously have to be on their agenda if they want to discuss it, but I can definitely let the chair know that you all have concerns and that you're willing to do that.
It could be framed as a helpful option, like, hey, we'd like to help you out in the.
Because I will say this, I keep on talking about this program, and HDC is in part of it, but HDC is also going to be the one that's going to take the longest aspect of it, because we're so robust and unique and all that fun stuff. It's not a one-size-all component. but it's an excellent program. I can tell you that. So
All right.
Good.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it. You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right. So are we good? I mean, have we talked about everything we need to talk about?
Yes, sir.
All right.
We are good.
Would anybody like to make a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All right. All those in favor? Right, hang on. Mr. Rowland, are you in favor of this motion?
Yes.
Lucy, are you in favor of this motion?
Yes.
Angus, are you in favor of your own motion?
Indeed.
All right. Chair's in favor. Let's get out of here.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Brooks.